Yeah, there've been plenty of struggles as far as, um, how do we, when we first got in here, we're like, okay, how are we going to get any money? So we had to come up with some ideas, and sales is, neither one of us are real salesy, kind of people. So we had to come up with a way to, to tackle those challenges in our own way. And I think, we just try to come up with a product that kind of sells itself, so that we don't have to be pushy, or so that's, that was a struggle, and finally figuring out how to do that right. And I just think, obvious things are just, it's really hard as just being a two-person operation to get to everything you want to. So and we still struggle with that, and we probably always will, getting to all the things that we want to cover. So we just do the best we can, and try to come to terms with that. But I think it's tough. Vacations and things like that are hard to come by when you're as small as we are.
My favorite stories to report are just city council issues and things that are going to affect the community. When I'm sitting in a city council meeting, and I've been sitting there for 6 hours, and the room is emptied out, and it's just me and a couple other journalists, it feels good knowing that somebody's got everybody's back, and that somebody's going to come back and tell you what happened, so that you don't have to sit there and wade through all that mess. It feels really good to come back after sitting at a city council meeting for 13 hours, was one of the most recent issues that I covered, and write a story and hit publish, and know that everybody's going to wake up the next morning and be able to find out what happened.
I think the biggest challenge is resisting the pressure that there is to just get things first. And sometimes I've seen accuracy fall by the wayside. I think you see that on the national scale more regularly than you'd like. So the Society of Professional Journalists just revised their code of ethics, and they kind of address that, and I'm paraphrasing, but one of the points is that speed and format, whatever it is, they don't excuse inaccuracy. I think they're speaking directly to things like Twitter and that kind of thing there.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake to give away our content. We kind of joke about this in the newspaper business, but I think that was a mistake, just like printing TV logs for free was a mistake back in the 50s and 60s when that started happening. We were basically advertising for free for our competitors. And then what business charges one customer for a product and then turns around and gives it to this other customer for free indiscriminately? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I think we made a terrible mistake when we trained people to expect journalism for free, because journalism's not free. Journalism's expensive. It takes people, takes manpower, takes time, takes personal connections. I think that's another thing that the digital age brings. Another challenge the digital age brings us is that there's less face-to-face communication in the world, and the best reporters are the ones who can look you in the eye and get you to say things, get you to tell them the truth. And I think when we lose those relationships and then lose that element of source development, and you try to do everything through email or through text messages, you lose that connection, and you're not as effective as a reporter, as a journalist, as a chronicler of history if you can't form those relationships and get people to talk to you on a one-on-one basis.